Hello?
Vicki?
Uh-huh.
Hey, Nathan Songer, the FBI.
Hey, Nathan. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Oh, the reason I'm calling you is that Marissa said, that you said, that Eric's statement about detailed knowledge of what happened about the Mamae and Wilton Hoggatt aiding and abetting A.J. Allbritton would not be taken seriously by a judge or jury because of the custody hearing.
Okay.
Is that so?
Is that so?
I mean, is that what you told her?
I said it may not, and I said were it all to go before a judge, it would definitely cloud the issues.
Okie doke. Well, you know, the way I see it, the issues, it doesn't matter if they're clouded or not clouded. It's been 6 years and the little girl's trying to kill herself, you know, so whether the judge believed it or didn't believe it or the jury did or didn't, if Daphne Woods said that Eric just made a statement to the FBI, or to be sent to the FBI, charging his father with a federal felony just to get back at him, you know, that's a crime. Did you know that? I'm sure you do. I'm a lawyer, you know.
Right.
So, I mean, you know that's criminal. If Eric really did that, that would be you could prosecute that, right? Okay. So, so my question to you is, do you believe that the Hoggatts did have something to do with helping him escape or not?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I believe that May and or Wilton knew or have known, you know, where he is. I mean, but they've never told me. And they've lied to me, and obviously, you know, I mean, that's a federal offense itself, but I have to be able to prove that.
Okay. Well, see, you have a witness that is the person's own son that can say, my dad told... See, Eric was there the night they went to get A.J. from jail. And the sheriff told Mr. Hoggatt, he said, do you know what he did? He said, I think I do. Because, see, Mike had gone down there and talked to Mr. Hoggatt a week or two before to say, come with me to confront my father when he found out what happened. And Mr. Hoggatt told us about that. And that's how we knew about it before. In fact, I don't even think Mike's ever told us about that. But Mr. Hoggatt said that Mike came down there and said what he had done, and that he wanted to go with him down there to confront his father, and that he told Mike that, you know, to just not make a big deal out of it, and these things would blow over and maybe just be forgotten about. And anyway, so, and then Mike had told Mr. Hoggatt told this to us. Mr. Hoggatt said that Mike had told him that long years ago that his sister had said that the father had tried to molest her, and that he didn't believe it then. You know, he wouldn't listen to it because he didn't want to believe that about his father, but he thought maybe it was true now. It wasn't any kind of full-blown molesting. It was him trying to get in the bed with her and the grandmother chasing him out, Grandma Tat. But anyway, and so they went down, but Eric was there. We were spending the weekend that A.J. was arrested, and Eric and Mr. Hoggatt went down. And the sheriff said, do you know what he did? Mr. Hoggatt said, I think I do. He said, don't get him out of here, Mr. Hoggatt. He's going to run to Mexico. He knows what prison is like, and he's not going to prison. And we have medical reports, and he told him about the medical evidence about the little girl's bruised vagina and so forth. Right. He said, if you get him out of here, he won't ever stand trial. And then over the years, he'd just tell him, when they came by, when y'all came by to talk to him, we heard all about that, and we heard about how they lied to y'all and how they were worried and this and that. And then, you know, I just can't believe, well, anyway, so if I said, okay, I want to file charges against Wilton Hoggatt or Daphne Woods for saying that my husband made up something, that he just made up something about his parents that was real detailed and ugly, to try to accuse them of aiding and abetting a child molester, that I want to charge them with what? If the parents came to you and said, we want to charge Wilton Hoggatt with aiding and abetting, would you file charges against him or not?
Against Wilton? No.
Why?
Well, I don't file charges to begin with. The U.S. Attorney's Office does, but, you know, they wouldn't do it unless there was a clear-cut case that he aided and abetted. And I'm not aware of that, but...
Well, if you have his own son, admission against interest, are you an attorney also?
No.
Okay, well, anyway, you know, that's an exception to the hearsay rule. You, when you go around telling, well, I'm sure you know that, you're an FBI agent, but when you go around telling people about crimes that you do, that's admissible outside of the regular hearsay things. And then you have bank records. It could be ascertained, the 13 acres that that AJ sold to him. There would be land records that show when that transfer took place. You know, I mean...
Right. I understand a case could potentially be made. I'm just telling you the reality is the U.S. Attorney's Office is concerned about the fugitive, and rarely do they prosecute somebody that aids and abets. As much as I would want them to and have wanted them to in the past, where I've had people blatantly mislead me and lie about where somebody is, and you know, to the detriment of, you know, lots of dollars and lots of manpower spent going the wrong direction, and they still will refuse to, once it's all cleared up, you know, prosecute the person that misled us like that.
Right. Well, so, I realize that Mr. Hoggatt's not going to end up in the federal penitentiary, but if he were not even prosecuted, but if there were charges filed against him, that he realizes, hey, you got a choice, you know, under RICO, you can lose that land, you can lose, you know, you have to cooperate, he would. I mean, he isn't doing it because he loves AJ. They told me, I'm not even a member of the family, I'm an in-law, right. And they told me for 25 years, you know, that he was like he was because he was kicked in the head as a child. Eric's dad also told him when he was concerned about this before AJ ever ran, that they had heard of him molesting another little girl. And I mean, you know, they know very well that AJ did it. And the other night when the parents called Mr. Hoggatt to tell him the girl tried to kill herself, he said, well, he was getting his reward right now, probably. So he may know if he's dead. They'd like to just know if the guy's dead. But I know for certain, and on a tape, they taped him. And he said, I haven't talked to him in a year. Now, would that not be useful to have on a tape? The man lying to the FBI, saying, I haven't talked to him at all, and then have it on tape, I talked to him a year ago, because later on in that tape he realized, Mike might be taping this. And so he said, did I say a year ago, Mike? You know, how long ago has it been? You know, tried to play like he was a doddering old fool, right. And said, he said, 6 years, isn't that something? I didn't realize it was that long, but he was real clear because he knew that you'd come by about 8 months ago. Yeah, so with all that, still nothing against the Hoggatts, just to put pressure on them so they could plea bargain and tell where AJ was.
They wouldn't never go that far. In a typical criminal case, I mean, obviously we can use the grand jury and have them swear under oath in front of 50 people that this is the case or not the case. But for a fugitive case where we don't have the substantive charges are the states where the crimes have been charged. What we have is the fleeing the state to avoid the prosecution. And our rules that we use on those cases are not the same as a normal criminal investigation. We don't have the grand jury available to us to call witnesses in concerning fleeing our whole thing is just where are they and trying to figure out where they are. And then once they're captured, the federal charge of fleeing the state is dropped, and it falls back to whatever the state charge is.
So you're telling me if I went
the tools we have are limited, and that's why I keep trying to tell Marissa that I don't have grand jury subpoena power to just get phone records on a case like this.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Okay. Do you have children? Mm-hmm. Okay. If one of your children was like that guy on America's Most Wanted, that his little boy was drug off and raped and killed. That's the story I heard about the guys on America's Most Wanted, that's how it came about. But I may be wrong on that, but let's assume that's true. If you had a child that was drug off, raped, and killed, and you knew that somebody had been sending the person who drug off, raped, and killed your child, and you knew somebody was sending that person money now, or had been a year ago, how would you go forward if you weren't an FBI agent, but knowing what you know?
Well, I mean, obviously, would want the authorities to get to the bottom of that and to.
But I mean, how mechanically, how does a person do that? Who would they contact?
Well, the people with the charges. I mean, it has to go through the sheriff's office. Would be the ones with the authority to do that, to investigate that.
Even if they had crossed state lines, because what he's aiding and abetting is the charge that y'all have. He's aiding and abetting the fleeing.
Right.
Right. But there's no federal crime that he could be charged with that would be prosecuted for doing that.
Not practically, no. I mean, not that I'm aware of.
So what would you do if it was your kid?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I understand y'all wanting to put pressure on the Hoggatts. I want them to tell the truth as much as anybody else.
But see, legally they have to, Nathan. I mean, if I did that, I get in trouble for things I don't even do. You know, but if I did that, I know I'd be under the jailhouse, you know?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I had to arrest an illegal alien and charged him for lying about his citizenship, and he blatantly lied about his citizenship. It was told he was lying to the INS and the FBI, and that he needed to tell the truth, and it was a federal crime for him to do it, and he continued to do it. And after about an hour of us researching his background and his records and not coming up with anything, and knowing this guy was here illegally, he finally said, okay, I'm here illegally, and we arrested him for lying to us about it. You know, and then the judge called it a technical violation because he changed his mind after an hour, and so the U.S. Attorney's Office, after the judge said that, said, well, we're not going to push that charge, and drop the charge. So,
okay.
I mean, I deal with the realities of what you're talking about all the time, and it's not as easy as, you know, as you're, you know, trying to make it out to be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. If you took that statement of Eric's and you went and you sat with Mr. Hoggatt and you said, okay, Mr. Hoggatt, I want to ask you each one of these things. Are they true or are they false? And see, if he heard all those things, he'd know, uh-oh, I'm in serious trouble. When they called him the other day, the parents, he, what was it? Oh, he was trying to find out, was there anything, you know, that happened that caused her to think about it? He was trying to find out, does somebody know something about me? Or are they prosecuting anything? Or is Eric told on me? Or any of that? But anyway, if you went through it statement by statement and said, is this true or is that true? That would put him on notice that, that, you know, he could be in serious trouble, because he, on that tape, he said, the FBI came by and they let me know about the consequences, you know, that's why I would never do anything like that, you know. And so, but if you went through it statement by statement with him and said, okay, Mr. Hoggatt, your son said this, is this true? And let him yes or no it. Don't you think that that might have a impact on him, that he realized, hey, these people know that I'm committing state and federal crimes right now?
I mean, if Eric wants to write down everything he's been told by his father, or what he believes his father, you know, has told him.
Well, see, that's what we wrote down. Did you not get it?
I don't know. Not that I know of.
Oh, my goodness.
You wrote down a list?
Yes. Close as we could to come to dates.
And you sent it to me?
I thought Marissa already had, but I'll call her and tell her to. I have a copy, too. Let me get your address just a second.
How long ago was this?
This was a year ago.
Oh, let's see.
And I thought that was probably what motivated you to go by and talk to him again.
Well, I do it periodically anyway, but, well, I think it was the conversation, but I don't think I had anything in writing.
Okay, well, I'll check with Marissa, because she was of the impression that you had, so she needs to get that to you, or I need to get it to you. Let me get an address from you. Okay. Suite 302. Okay.
Monroe.
All right.
Louisiana.